the Chinese Communist Party banned Bitcoin mining
Yeah.
literally in the middle of the run up of the last Bitcoin bull market.
Right.
Is that a
Right.
coincidence, right? So,
Yeah. No.
Lawrence, is it too much to say that governments today are actively price suppressing Bitcoin in order in the hopes of slowing down adoption enough to implement central bank digital currency regimes?
I can't prove it, but it feels to me like there might be a little bit of it. I don't think they've got it suppressed nearly the way they suppress gold, but I do know that the odds, when it took off in the fall of 2020, when it went from kind of in the 5-10K range and shot up to 50. I mean, you can just bet that every single finance ministry throughout the world said, "Holy shit, we got a serious problem here." So, and I'm sure they've been thinking about wargaming. How do we address this problem? Um,
Oh man, yeah. I mean, you saw the bipartisan. By the way, there was a law in Congress that was passed very quickly when El Salvador, which GDP wise is very extremely small country, saying Bitcoin is potentially could potentially become a threat.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
thought that
Some
was
senator was
interesting.
out hammering Bukele for I don't know what reason. And it's like, why would he even give a shit about El Salvador? I mean, why would he even care?
Yeah.
I mean, well, I know why he cares. I mean, they know. Look, you know, here's the thing: the best piece of news is there are so many more of us, and the internet. I mean, look, we have a centralized system, and it really worked well for them. I mean, the New York Times told you what the truth was, the government told you what the truth was, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the internet coming along has been wonderful, right? Because it allowed us all to communicate with one another very inexpensively and to create alternative views or I believe much more accurate views of what the truth is. And so and so you're seeing the internet is basically messing with their narrative. And consider the legacy news networks. I mean, there's some great charts that show how Joe Rogan is basically burying CNN. And that's because people know when they're being lied to. I mean, if you piss on their leg and say it's raining, they figure it out. And so all we got to do is educate as many normies as we possibly can. And guess what? Having your electrical bill go up 100%, having a hard time buying food, having your family suffer, being a millennial that's getting screwed. I mean, you tend to get educated. It's like, what the fuck? You're messing up my life in a big way. God damn it. I mean, you've seen these protests in Europe, the farmers and others. You saw the truckers protest. I mean, this is only going to grow. This movement, it's only going to grow. Pierre Poilievre, the guy who is now the Conservative Party leader in Canada, I mean, he might get elected, right? And that would be fabulous. And so he's a Bitcoiner. He's a friend of Booth and Foss. So, it's coming. It's coming. I mean, we don't have our Ron Paul yet. We need a Bitcoin Ron Paul, but that's coming. It'll happen. It's people are smart, and it can take some time, no doubt, but we've got a much better hand. I mean, I like the side that we're on in this whole fight. I mean, we're going to win. I mean, Marty Bent has it right. We are going to win. There is no doubt we are going to win. Now, the time scale, that's a different matter, and I prefer it happens sooner rather than later because I'm not as young as you, and I want to see it.